Hola, internet.
You want to just give me your iPad?
Sure. Yeah. Oh, there we go, I think. Yay, internet. Hi. It me. I'm not Susie. Our intrepid fighter is what she plays in my game. No. Yes, maybe. You can tell I care so much. No, I do. I'm Carolyn, obviously, and I am not Susie. We were gonna have Susie do a chat tonight, but she forgot she was hanging out with her bae. So here I am. Tonight we're gonna do probably a relatively quick chat on excuse me. A relatively quick chat on pre-made modules versus creating your own. So I've had the unique, I won't say, I've had inexperience with running Strahd, cover to cover mostly. It was supposed to be a one-shot, but turned into a 12 session campaign. That wasn't the intent, but there we were. And I'm also going to be doing a one-shot coming up on October 6th. So 3 full weekends of me! So yeah, I just wanted to kind of talk about that and the differences between them and the challenges, I think, in running both. Obviously, the first main difference between a pre-made versus your own creation is how much you have to do in the world building. With Strahd, the world is already built. The history, the lore is already there. You as the DM have to read it. And I think that's the hardest part as a pre-made module is reading something. Because I wasn't super thrilled necessarily with running Strahd. I kind of did it because A, it was vampires and it was Halloween, and B, Susie really, really wanted to run it and go through it. And I was like, we'll do it for fun. It'll be funsies. But the problem, I think, for me was since I wasn't super engaged with it, I didn't retain the lore as probably well as I should have. So a lot of shit I kind of just made up. And a lot of the things that probably should have never have slid, I let slide just because I was like, I don't care. There's I think it's either Valaki or one of the other cities, maybe Barovia, I don't remember specifically, but there was it's the town where you encounter the leader of the town who's putting on all these festivals because happiness is what will break the curse. Well, my town or my group decided that that's bullshit. The leader is bullshit and he's a terrible leader, so let's overthrow the government, which as an option is not written anywhere in the book. And, so they were standing there and, everyone was like, how could you let someone do this to you? And they gave this all-inspiring speech and I was like, roll a performance check or roll a diplomacy. I don't remember.
Persuasion, maybe?
Maybe it might have been a persuasion. And it was a nat 20. And as a DM, I'm like, how do you say no to that? It was a great speech. It was an awe-inspiring moment. It's a D20, a natural 20 on the roll. So, all right, fuck it. The town revolts. And it's completely not even written into the game, so it changes the whole dynamic of the game at that point because you have now gone completely off script as a DM with your players. So that's probably the hardest part, I think, about pre-made versus your own. I think with your own games, things that you create, you build from the ground up. You know the lore a lot better because it's something you're invested in. I could sit and think about characters and their motivations nonstop because I'm invested in my own world. I want to create this very rich world that my players engage in and find the characters that I create fun and someone they want to go back to and hopefully someone memorable. And hopefully the next game you'll meet him. I'm super excited about a character that His name is Zenith. Be on the lookout for him. I'll go ahead and just drop that little hint. And I'm really excited about everyone meeting him. I feel like he's going to be a really awesome character as an NPC, and he has a really awesome, like, kind of story associated with him. And, you know, I'm excited for the players to meet him, hopefully. Kind of sad if they don't, but, you know, who knows? But I think that that's the give and take between a pre-made versus a homebrew. I think if you're truly excited about a pre-made module, you know, you'll probably retain the lore, the backstories in those characters, and those situations a lot more. One of the other, probably the con, or the pro for pre-made versus homebrew, is the pre-made kind of gives you everything you need as far as like monsters that you'll be encountering. You don't really have to build anything so long as you have a party that's within the prerequisites of the campaign. You don't really have to tweak anything necessarily for the players. You know, they say, here's Ezek, or, you know, whatever this character's name is. He does these things, this is his stats. Whew, that's a load off my back. I don't have to write it. You know, I don't have to come up with the stats for this character. I don't have to do the retweaking and the modifications and, wouldn't it be cool if he had this demonic arm? You know, that kind of stuff. It's already written for me, which is really nice in making it easy, I think, to prepare for a session. Whereas, like right now, in my home game, the characters have come to a very crucial point. And they are preparing to go about... you know, setting very vast changes within the world that they're in. And they've, you know, like, is so-and-so, does so-and-so exist? Does this, and the other? What kind of lore is there? You know, what kind of history is there? And I have to write it all. You know, I have to dig out, you know, come up with characters and come up with history and lore and what these people have been doing, how they're going to help the characters if the characters ask for aid. You know, coming up with stats if, you know, because I know the characters are thinking about asking for some sort of assistance of some kind. What are those character stats? Who are they? Are they just random, nameless, faceless soldiers? Or do they have a history? Are they going to be somewhat involved with the characters? These are things that you as a DM, when you're pre-making a module, you have to do. And now I'm all alone with you. Ha 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 ha. My tech support just walked away. Ha 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 ha. So now is your chance to ask me all of the weird questions. Let me look at my tablet. Oh. You're not asking me questions, guys. That's okay. So, yeah, pre-made modules they have a lot of pros, and they obviously have a lot of cons. Pros is that they're super easy to prepare for. You might have to draw, like, a map or something. You might have to, like... I know for me, I use a special app on my tablet, and so obviously, like, a lot of pre-made generated NPCs and things like that, I would have to put in my tablet. So it would probably be the only thing I would say that's the downside. But obviously that's still the same thing I have to do with a homemade campaign. But I have to do all of the stuff before putting it into my program. I have to, like, come up with the stats and stuff. So that's always a bummer. That's always what takes the most time, I think, too, is statting characters out. Because, you know, you want to think about, well, why are they like this? I'm thinking about probably statting out at least 3 different characters for the next session. And I'm trying to think about, well, this is the class that I've decided on, but now I have to decide on, like, their path and, like, well, why are they doing this? What are their powers? How does it impact or, you know, align with all of these things like religion or their beliefs? So those are always things you have to think about, I think, and that's always a challenge with characters building in particular. Let's see, what else? obviously, I mean, it seems kind of self-explanatory. Homebrews, you create everything from the ground up, with the help of obviously your characters who've provided backstories and things like that. But I mean, from the maps to the characters to the lore to, you know, terrain to anything and everything, it's all from within your head as a DM. But I think one of the best things about homebrew campaigns and things that you create on your own is that your players can then give back to you. You know, when you present them with a town, like with the Airy, when Verity and Jeff walked in, they were like, I know this tavern. And that makes perfect sense for them to know of a tavern or some place within the city and name it, because they've been traveling in their backstories for a couple of years. It makes complete and utter sense for them to name this place, to describe this place. And if they wanted to, they could literally describe it from the ground up and it would be complete canon for me. And I think that's amazing things about homebrews is that I feel like homebrews and campaigns that you create from the ground up allow for more collaboration between you and your players. You know, I think that one-shots are, I think everyone goes in with the mindset that there's not going to be a lot of exploration, because one-shots, especially, some of them are designed with a point A, point B, point C in mind. And if players don't necessarily can't deviate from that too much, because it doesn't allow for the actual story flow. In Strahd, you have a little bit, like when we ran Strahd, it was a little bit more freeform because they could decide where in the map they wanted to go. But there were still, when you got to that point, it was still related to everything else within the world. So it still helped drive the story forward. But I'm with the planning of the one shot, Kamala's crying in the background. I'm sorry. When you have a one shot, something that's particularly designed to be in a certain time frame, I think it's a little bit more restricting for the players and the DM, because I think as a DM, you don't want to expound too much and create more than what's already on the page, because if you do, you run the risk of having your players go off on that tangent. And that can really kill your time frame, especially if you're trying to stick within a certain time, 2 to 6 hours or 2 to 4 hours, whatever that time frame may be. So like the one I'm choosing to run on the 6th, I think it says it's between 4 to 6 hours is the time frame. And I'm like, well, that would be great. We start at 6, end at 10. That's a 4 hour. Well, if I'm thinking that way, that means I have to be a lot more tighter in what I say and how I act with my players. So I don't give them too much information and they go, oh, well, that sounds like it's important. Let's go chase that rabbit. And I'm like, no, but that's not, oh God, and then you end up, 3 hours down a rabbit hole with nothing to show for it. And I think for the players too, it's a little bit more restrictive because they know going in that there's not going to be a lot of exploration. There's not going to be a lot of, winding paths. It's obviously a story that's designed to go, beginning, middle, end. So those are the challenges I think that everyone has to balance between doing campaigns that are pre-made or pre-written modules, either, campaign settings or even one-shots versus your homebrew and things that you create. So those are the things that I've noticed and things that I've experienced as a DM, having doing this for a couple years. But I'm excited to give my hand another shot at, that sentence was weird. I'm going to give my hand another shot. Give myself another shot at running a one-shot. So I'm excited to see where it'll lead and getting to see what my players think of it. It sounds like it'll be interesting. So, but of course, I'm also really excited and looking forward to this week's campaign for Tales of Cyril. It's gonna be interesting, guys. Yeah.
Overthrowing governments again.
Yeah, overthrowing governments. It's a thing amongst my players. They see a government and they're like, fuck it, let's just start.
I'm an anarchist at heart. I live in a capitalist society.
We're all anarchists. No. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm excited to see what the players do with it. And I'm in the process of creating some unique places and things like that, which hopefully I'll get done by the end of the week. Or I may be pulling an all-nighter on Friday.
We don't have game on
So
Friday.
we don't, so I can get to work immediately, which I won't because I never do. I get home and I'm like, must recharge brain. So, also, Mr. T-shirt because of reasons. So, yeah, that's it. I don't have anything else. And the chat is so riveting tonight. But yeah. Thank you all for showing up, for coming out, listening to me drivel on. And, if you have any other questions, concerns, comments, suggestions, general, hey, how are yous? Send them on to us. We're on most social media platforms: Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook. And Roll for Trouble, hashtag always forever. Come look us up, send us your prompts. I'm trying to be better about Tumblr, guys. I'm so sorry.
Schedule this week.
And we're doing a lot. we have Tales from Serial this Saturday at 12 Eastern Standard Time. And then, of course, we just recently moved our, I keep wanting to say Tales from Turacell. The River of Turacell. We're now going Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. So grab your cereal and come join us. And then, of course, every Wednesdays we have our DM chats, fireside chats, or Loki side chats. Loki fireside. With his googly eyes of amazingness. Hey, now you're back.
Where do you find modules?
Where do I find modules? There's a couple different sites you can go to. One that's actually kind of linked together. You can go to, I think it's DM's Guild. Is that what it's called? Mm-hmm. DM's Guild on the webs on the internets. It's linked with Drive-Thru RPG. DM's Guild is specifically for D&D, whereas Drive-Thru RPG is like all of the games. And it actually has a lot of other things besides just modules or books or things like that associated with role-playing games. You can find other wonderful things. Like for a while I was using oh, hi random person.
That's my mom.
Hi anime fan mom. You can find things like Fat Dragon. I love them. I love their stuff. It's really funny. It's cute, and you can, like, it's paper crafting to its finest. I think they've moved into the 3D printing with some of their stuff, but I know they still have their paper crafting stuff on there as well, where you can, like, if you get, like, stock board, you can print out pre-made, like, tiles and things, so you can build maps. And then you also have the ability to, like, create terrain items as well, like little chests or, like, chairs and beds and things like that. And it's time consuming, but if you have no time, they're great. But they're really cute. They're not super expensive, and it's something that you can use, and it's super easy to access for you to kind of give your game a little flair. Even if you just get, like, the accessories pack that they have for, like, beds and chairs and things, it'll help, it can bring a little bit of extra dimension to your maps if you just use, like, printed stuff. And it's something that you always have access to at that point. You download it and keep it on your computer. But the modules that we found, or that I found, was actually on DM's Guild. And I think it was ones that was like, pay what you want. So you don't necessarily have to pay anything, or you can pay the suggested price or more to help support those people who put their time and effort into creating these things. And And I've read through a few. I actually purchased another one, which I might actually use it in my campaign. I'm not sure yet, because it's really, like, cool and, like, weird and stuff. And it sounds really cool, and I kind of want to play in it, but I don't really want to do, like, another campaign on the side. So I might, like, throw it in as an arc in the current campaign. We'll see. But I was thinking it would be the one shot that I would do on the 6th, and then it was too long, and it had too much that I just couldn't cut it down. You know, it seemed like it would be, you wouldn't get the full effect of it. So I found another one shot that's designed for like 4 to 6 hours. And it seems really interesting. It's got some pumpkins, which is all I'll tell you. It's called the Pumpkin King. So I'm excited about it. I think it'll be really fun. And it seems like it'll be really interesting. So I'm excited about it. So.
I was going to post a picture of a pumpkin, but I can't find an emoji that's appropriate.
So.
That's lame. Why is there no pumpkin emoji?
I don't know.
You're fired up.
So.
Alright, well, I guess no more questions.
No. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. Again, hit us up on social media, and we'll see you here this Saturday at 12 Eastern Standard Time for Tales from Zero for Viva la Revolution. And then Sunday at 10 for the new Rivers of Duracell. So yeah, we'll see you all then. Thanks so much for joining us and putting up with me rambling. Toodaloo, Internet.